We saw increased efforts to fight fake news, especially on social media. But even with the added safeguards against misinformation, it can still seem like liberals and conservatives simply cannot agree on what is real and what is not.
That's why two men here in Chicago are working on what you might call a vaccine for this infodemic. WGN's Mike Lowe reports.
In the beginning, there was Genesis. The band, not the book. Their 1987 hit song, Land of Confusion, is somehow more relevant today than it was 33 years ago, as the airwaves and the internet have become a flood of falsehoods.
9/11 was an inside job.
So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story?
There's something involving Hunter Biden and child pornography in his hard drive. This isn't true. There's no proof of this whatsoever.
The information age has morphed into the era of misinformation.
Doctors sounding the alarm about COVID misinformation running rampant on social media.
False information spreading online.
The decline of traditional media.
Almost a quarter of the newsroom was laid off.
The rise of social media.
Foreign propaganda.
Senator, in retrospect, I think we clearly view it as a mistake that we didn't inform people.
Charges of bias.
Despite what you are hearing from the left-wing media in this country.
The intentional exploitation of divisions by foreign adversaries.
The disinformation from the Kremlin over Syria comes just months after its successful effort to use similar tactics to meddle with the U.S. presidential election.
The spread of lies by American political operatives.
An active attempt to start a bloody civil war.
The proliferation of politically slanted, phony local newspapers in small towns.
There is a very pernicious increase in phony local news sites.
And the president himself.
When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people.
Tweeting conspiracy theories.
Just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory.
Followers believe that a cabal of pedophiles runs the United States. They control the media, Hollywood, and politicians, and the only person that can stop them is Donald Trump.
Leveling false charges.
You are fake news.
And questioning the credibility of legitimate sources.
I met with him in Trump Tower. Why do you keep hammering at this? And he said, you know why I do it? I do it to discredit you all and demean you all, so when you write negative stories about me, no one will believe you.
All cause us to question what we know. What are the consequences then of this we can't agree on reality situation?
The consequences are absolutely horrible. It's just confusion about what we can accept as facts.
It just may be the most pressing problem we face. If we can't agree on what's real, we can't solve what's vital. We can't even agree on how we know what we know.
I wish that I had come up with the term infodemic.
But from his home in Chicago's Graceland West neighborhood,
we started about 2.5 years ago.
Jim Warren is working on a vaccine of sorts.
It's our challenge is figuring out what to look at because there's just so much junk.
Warren is the former managing editor of the Chicago Tribune, and now he's applying those skills.
We ding them for not regularly correcting errors. They don't do that on their website.
As the executive editor of NewsGuard.
TheTruthAboutCancer.com.
A service that acts as a shield in the battle against misinformation and disinformation.
The website severely violates basic journalistic standards. NewsGuard attempts using real journalists to vet the credibility of websites.
Those journalists have reviewed and rated the credibility of more than 6,000 websites. What site did you find?
The North Michigan News.
The sites account for nearly 95% of the news content engagement on social media. They check for basic information.
Clearly label advertising and clearly telling you who owns it, among others.
Part of the problem is that handheld technology gives people the impression that they're getting first-hand information. As useful as NewsGuard might be, the solution lies in yourself as a critical consumer.
So these are bright kids growing up in good schools, and there's no classes about what sources of news you can trust, what you can't trust.
So,
no classes until now.
While they could not find direct evidence linking the two.
At Northwestern University,
a little more data.
Professor Larry Stulpnagel teaches a course called Bad News, which examines the origins and the spread of misinformation, propaganda, and fake news.
The proliferation of false information creates harm because it discredits sources.
WGN visited the class last spring, just before the full scale of the pandemic was known.
When you announce the difference between what you hear and what you actually see.
He's training the next generation of journalists to work in an era of distrust and disinformation.
All of which undermines society's ability to engage in a rational discourse that are based upon shared facts.
They're examining the ways in which unverified stories become amplified.
Fake news is information that is intentionally disseminated via social media, via edited videos, via things that purport to be newspapers that aren't newspapers, and it is presented to the public as a fact. And this is something that the public should be paying attention to, but it's really disinformation.
Which leaves us wandering in the land of confusion.
Right. Dangerous. Dangerous as hell.
Knowing you can't take everything you read or hear as gospel, but the gospel itself does provide a blueprint for democracy. The truth shall set you free. There's no confusion about that.
It's very exhausting work. We've taken it on, and we hope that others will join the fray.
In Chicago, Mike Lowe, WGN News.